Hello students, good morning. Students, by now we have discussed about the unification of Italy under the leadership of Chief Minister Cavour. And though he was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat, and even then he became successful in unification of Italy, and then he proclaimed King Emmanuel II as the King of Italy and in 1861. And now just in this way the country of Italy became united. And now let's see this in this process that it's whose turn, and it's the turn of Britain. The model of the nation or the nation state, as some scholars have argued, is Great Britain. Means Great Britain got means became democracy at the earliest of all the European states. In Britain, the formation of nation state was not a result of a sudden upheaval or revolution. In Britain also, it was not the result of a sudden revolution, but it was the result of a long drawn out process. Here also, the freedom struggle, it carried for a long time. There was no British nation prior to the 18th century. 18th, before 18th century, it was not a nation, but it was under monarch, or I mean to say the Maharani or Queen. The primary identities of people who inhabited the British Isles were ethnic ones, such as English, Wales, Scot, or Irish. So, combinedly or jointly, they were known as British Isles. All of these ethnic groups had their own cultural and political traditions. But as the English nation steadily grew in wealth because of industrialization, it became very wealthy. So importance and power, it was able to extend its influence over the other nations of the islands. So now when this country became wealthy or means prosperous, start just wanted to capture the sidey countries or have their extent. Now, but as the English nation steadily grew in wealth, importance, and power, it was able to extend its influence over the other nations of the island, and the English Parliament, which had seized power from the monarchy in 1688 at the end of a protracted conflict, was the instrument through which a nation state with England at its center came to be forged. Means in 1688 the power of monarchy was seized, and it was given to, and the English Parliament became more powerful. Means Parliament existed, and that became very helpful in creating nation state, and its name was changed as England. The Act of Union 1707 between England and Scotland, that resulted in the formation of United Kingdom. Now combination of England and Scotland together is known as United Kingdom or Great Britain, meant in effect that England was able to impose its influence on Scotland. Now in 1707 one act was passed, and according to that act, England and Scotland together known as United Kingdom, and the rules of England, they were just enforced, not enforced, but they were introduced in Scotland also. The British Parliament was henceforth dominated by its English member, and as a result, the Parliament was in the hand of English members, means England from. The growth of British identity meant that Scotland's distinctive culture and political institutions were systematically suppressed, because in this way England became more powerful, as the rules and regulations of England also just enforced or introduced in Scotland, and that is why the British identity means the Scotland distinctive culture and political institutions, they were suppressed, and whose distinctive culture and political institutions, they were introduced of Britain, means England. The Catholic class that inhabited the Scottish Highlands suffered terrible repression. Now, because you know that Christianity had two sects, one is Catholic and second is Protestant, and this Scotland is predominantly Catholic country, and because of this, because now there was an influence of England, so the Catholics, they suffered a lot whenever they attempted to assert their independence. If they wanted to get independence, or if they raised their voice for independence, they were suffered a lot. The Scottish Highlanders were prohibited to speak their forbidden to speak their Gaelic language or wear their national dress. Now you see, the means even the people of Scotland, they were not allowed to speak their language or to wear their national dress, and large numbers were forcibly driven out of their homeland, and even maximum of the peoples, they were just driven out of their homeland, where from the from where they were the residents. Ireland suffered a similar fate. It was a country deeply divided between Catholics and Protestant. The English helped the Protestant of Ireland to establish their dominance over a largely Catholic country. Now the English, they helped the Protestant of Ireland. Ireland, two sects of Christianity were prevailing, Catholicism and Protestant. And Catholicism, who helped the Catholicism? Means Catholics, the English. Catholic revolts against British dominance were suppressed. But when the Catholics, they started revolts, the British, means the England, or I mean to say the Britain, they suppress it. After a failed revolt led by Wolfe Tone and his United Irishmen in 1798, Ireland was forcibly incorporated into a United Kingdom. Now, earlier Ireland was one different country, but now when just Ireland failed to suppress the British dominance, he was forcibly added in the United Kingdom in 1798, and the process started, and by 1801 the things were made, or the means this country Ireland, he was incorporated, means mila dena, into United Kingdom, and a new British nation was forged through a propagation of a dominant English culture. The symbols of the New Britain: the British flag, means Union Jack; the national anthem, God Save Our Noble King; the English language, they were actively promoted, and the older nations survived only as subordinate partners in this union. Now I think everything is clear in your mind. Now shall we move further? Now visualizing the nation. Visualizing means कैसे, अब हम nation state कैसे देखते हैं. While it is as easy enough to represent a ruler through a portrait or a statue, how does one go about giving a face to a nation? कहते हैं तो बहुत ईजी है कि हम किसी भी रूलर का कोई पोर्ट्रेट बना सकते हैं, कोई स्टैचू बना सकते हैं, लेकिन किसी देश का, किसी नेशन को फेस कैसे दें? आर्टिस्ट in the 18th and 19th century found a way out by personifying a nation. Now several artists, they were working on it, and in 18th and 19th century they found a way. What was that way? Let's see. In other words, they represented a country as if it was a person. Okay, and nations were then portrayed as female figure. Person but female figure. The female form that was chosen to personify the nation did not stand for any particular woman in real life. जो विमन की एक पोर्ट्रेट बनाया गया किसी भी नेशन को शो करने के लिए, उसका मतलब ये नहीं कोई भी पर्टिकुलर विमेन, मतलब वुमेन जो रियल लाइफ में उसका पोर्ट्रेट है. रादर इट सॉट टू गिव द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट आइडिया ऑफ ए नेशन टू कंक्रीट फॉर्म, एंड दिस दैट इज द फीमेल फिगर बिकेम एन एलिगरी ऑफ अ नेशन. क्योंकि एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट फॉर्म में किसी भी नेशन को हमें दिखाना है, तो इसलिए फीमेल फिगर एक एलिग्री किसी भी नेशन का एक स्टैचू बन गया. You will recall that during the French Revolution, artists used the female allegory to portray ideas such as liberty, justice, and the republic. These ideals were represented through specific objects or symbols. Several symbols you must have, broken chain and several other things, red cap or so, and they were represented. As you would remember, the attributes of liberty are the red cap, now also you see, or the broken chain, while justice is generally a blindfolded woman carrying a pair of weighing scales. Similar female allegories were invented by artists in the 19th century to represent the nation. In other countries also, similar type of female allegory means portraits, they were prepared. In France, she was Christian Marine, a popular Christian name which underlined the idea of a people's nation. क्योंकि उस लेडी ने बहुत काम किया था, तो her characteristics were drawn from those of liberty and the republic. The red cap, the tricolor, the cockade, all these things. Statues of Marine was erected in public squares to remind the public of the national symbols of unity and to persuade them to identify with it. और हर जगह वो स्टैचूज जहाँ भी चौराहे हैं चौराहे पर लगा दिए गए जिससे लोगों को एक सिंबल ऑफ यूनिटी के बारे में याद रहता रहे. Marine images were marked on coins and stamps also. Similarly, Germania, which you have read in chapter 3 also, became the allegory of German nation. In visual representations, Germania wear a crown of oak leaves as the German oak stands for heroism. Now, meaning of allegory is also here. When an abstract idea is expressed through a person or a thing, that is known as allegory. An allegorical story has two meanings, one literal and one symbolic. Here allegory means symbol. Okay, now these are some meanings of symbols. Broken chains, being freed, earlier we read it. Breastplate with eagle, symbol of the German Empire, strength. Then crown of oak leaves, heroism. Then sword, readiness to fight. Then olive branch around the sword, willingness to make peace. Then black, red and gold tricolor, flag of liberal nationalist in 1814, banner by the dukes of the German states. Then rays of the rising sun means beginning of a new era. So these are the things, and now I think this was the picture of Germania. Okay, and this portrait or this figure is portrayed on the bank of river Rhine. It was portrayed in 1860. The artist Lawrence Clason was commissioned to paint this image, and the inscription on Germania's sword reads, "The German sword protects the German Rhine river." So now let's move further, that nationalism and imperialism. By the last quarter of 19th century, nationalism no longer retained as idealistic liberal democratic sentiments of the first half of the century, but became a narrow creed with limited ends. During this period, nationalist groups became increasingly intolerant of each other, क्योंकि अब तक आते आते सब इतने ज़्यादा डिस्टर्ब हो चुके थे या इतने इरिटेट हो चुके थे कि एक दूसरे से इनटॉलरेंट होने लगे एंड एवर रेडी टू गो टू वार, और वो लड़ाई के लिए भी तैयार थे. द मेजर यूरोपियन पावर्स इन टर्न मैनिपुलेटेड द नेशनलिस्ट एस्पिरेशंस ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट मीन्स प्रजा, पीपल इन यूरोप टू फर्दर देयर ओन इम्पेरियलिस्टिक एम्स. अब जो यूरोपियन पावर्स थी उन्होंने मैनिपुलेट करना शुरू कर दिया नेशनलिस्ट एस्पिरेशंस को, कि लोगों को कि वो दोबारा से उस इम्पेरियलिस्टिक एम्स में उसी में ही आ जाएं. एंड द मोस्ट सीरियस सोर्स ऑफ नेशनलिस्ट टेंशंस इन यूरोप आफ्टर 1871 वाज द एरिया कॉल्ड द बल्कान्स. The Balkans was a region of geographical and ethnic variations comprising modern day Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, or Montenegro, whose habitants were broadly known as the slaves. A large part of the Balkans was under the control of Ottoman Empire, Ottoman Turkey means. The spread of the ideas of romantic nationalism in the Balkans together with the disintegration of Ottoman Empire made this region very explosive. अब क्या हुआ कि एक तरफ से तो रोमांटिक नेशनलिज्म के आइडिया स्प्रेड हो गए, दूसरी तरफ से जो डिसइंटीग्रेशन हो चुका था ऑटोमन एम्पायर में, उससे तो यहाँ के लोग और भी ज़्यादा एक्सप्लोसिव हो गए. All through the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire had sought to strengthen itself. अब क्योंकि 19th सेंचुरी में ऑटोमन एम्पायर अपनी पोजीशन को स्ट्रेंथन करने में लगा हुआ था थ्रू मॉडर्नाइजेशन एंड इंटरनल रिफॉर्म्स, बट विद वेरी लिटिल सक्सेस. लेकिन हो नहीं पा रहा था, इतना बहुत कम सक्सेस मिली. वन बाय वन इट्स यूरोपियन सब्जेक्ट नेशनलिटीज़ ब्रॉक अवे फ्रॉम इट्स कंट्रोल. और एक के बाद ये जितने बल्कान स्टेट्स थे ये सारे उसके चंगुल से निकलते गए. फॉर इंडिपेंडेंस और पॉलिटिकल राइट्स ऑन नेशनलिटी एंड यूज्ड हिस्ट्री टू प्रूव दैट दे हैड वंस बीन इंडिपेंडेंट. और उन्होंने अपना वही इतिहास दोहरा दिया कि पहले भी वो इंडिपेंडेंट थे, आज़ाद थे, लेकिन अब भी. बट हैड सब्सिक्वेंटली बीन सबजस्ड बाय फॉरेन पावर. लेकिन उनके ऊपर तो किसने कब्जा कर रखा था? फॉरेन पावर्स ने. हैंस द रिबेलियस नेशनलिटीज़ इन द बल्कान्स thought of their struggle as attempts to win back their long lost independence. तो इसलिए जितने भी रिबेलियस विद्रोही विचारों वाले जो नेशनलिटीज़ थे बल्कान्स के, उन्होंने सोचना शुरू कर दिया कि अब हम स्ट्रगल करेंगे. क्या करने के लिए? अपनी लॉन्ग लॉस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस को दोबारा जीतने के लिए. एज द डिफरेंट स्लेविक nationalities struggled to define their identity and independence, the Balkan area became an area of intense conflict. क्योंकि ये सभी छोटे छोटे कंट्रीज़, नेशंस अब स्ट्रगल करना इन्होंने शुरू कर दिया अपनी पहचान बनाने के लिए और अपने आप को आज़ाद करने के लिए. इसलिए बल्कान्स का जो एरिया है वो एक बहुत भयंकर कन्फ्लिक्ट का एरिया बन गया. द बल्कान स्टेट्स वर ferociously jealous of each other and each hoped to get more territory at the expense of others. Now matters were further complicated because the Balkans also became the scene of big power rivalry. क्योंकि इतने सारे कंट्रीज कर रहे थे अपनी इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए, इसलिए बहुत एक बड़ी बिग पावर के रूप में भी दिख रहे थे, हालांकि सब अलग अलग थे. बट ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड देयर वॉज इंटेंस राइवलरी अमंग द यूरोपियन पावर्स ओवर ट्रेड एंड कॉलोनीज एज वेल एज नेवल एंड मिलिट्री माइट. क्योंकि सभी जगह सभी लोग एक दूसरे से लड़ाई झगड़े में थे. किस वजह से? कि दूसरे देशों पर अपना कब्जा जमा लें, व्यापार कर लें, और नेवल, वहाँ के नेवल बेस पे और मिलिट्री पर भी अपना कब्जा जमा लें. दीज राइवलरीज वर वेरी एविडेंट इन द वे ऑफ बल्कान प्रॉब्लम्स अनफोल्डेड. Each power, whether it is Russia, Germany, England, Austro-Hungary means Austria-Hungary, were keen on countering the hold of other powers because they all tried to capture the powers and they just all tried to counter over the Balkans and extending its own control over the area. And this led to a series of wars in the region and finally the First World War. So now you see, this is a map celebrating the British Empire. Okay, now this last, nationalism allied with imperialism. अब nationalism किससे हट गया? imperialism से. led Europe to disaster in 1914. जब सभी का इंपीरियलिज्म ख़त्म हो गया, उनका सबका कब्जा ख़त्म हो गया, तो नेशनलिज्म की भावना बढ़ गई. बट मीनवाइल मैनी कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड विच हैड बीन कॉलोनाइज्ड बाय द यूरोपियन पावर्स इन द 19th century began to oppose imperial domination. The anti-imperial movements that developed everywhere were nationalist, in the sense that they all struggle to form independent nation states, and were inspired by a sense of collective national unity, forced to confrontation with imperialism. Now all the anti-imperial movements, wherever they were developed with nationalist sentiments, and because now every country wants to be independent, because they were inspired by a sense of collective national unity, and that's why they were confrontation with the nationalism, उनके सामने अड़के खड़े हो गए, and European ideas of nationalism were nowhere reflected, for people everywhere developed their own specific variety of nationalism. अब जो यूरोपियन आइडियाज़ थे नेशनलिज्म के, अब वो कहीं पर भी नहीं हो रहे थे, बल्कि लोगों ने अपने अपने स्पेसिफिक वैरायटी ऑफ नेशनलिज्म आइडियाज़ डेवलप कर लिए थे. बट द आइडिया दैट सोसाइटी शुड बी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इनटू नेशन स्टेट केम टू बी एक्सेप्टेड एज नेचुरल एंड यूनिवर्सल. लेकिन एक आइडिया कि सभी देश क्या बनेंगे, नेशन स्टेट, ये सभी देशों ने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, एक नेचुरल और यूनिवर्सल आइडिया है. एंड इन दिस वे द यूरोपियन कंट्रीज, several European countries, they got independence. Now just tomorrow we'll do the assignment or these question answers, but for today it's all over. Thank you and have a nice day.